We've been going back and forth for a century.
I want to steer markets.
I want them set free. There's a boom and bust cycle and good reason to fear it. Play low interest rates.
It's the animal spirits. Hayek.
Hey!
There you are, old
are you,
friend.
man?
Good to see you, old
Good
friend.
to see you, too.
I haven't seen you since that last conference. Where was that?
The Millennium Hilton, downtown.
Of course,
Right.
of course. You know, you look fantastic for a man born in 1899.
Get out of here. Are you
I mean
serious?
it. Yes, of
Thank
course.
you,
Look at
man.
you.
And you, I gotta say, you made quite the comeback.
Hey, don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years.
Okay.
And here we are at the Buttonwood gathering. You know, it must be very exciting to see your name on the program.
Yeah, about that. The thing is, I was looking at the agenda, and as usual, it's mostly friends of yours. So, congratulations. It appears that your ideas are timeless.
Well, thank you very much, but I wouldn't be so bashful. Last I checked, Road to Serfdom hit #1 on Amazon.
Ah, come on. Happy days are here again. Except for the unemployment, of course.
What was that?
What was that? No, I just said that it must be a little awkward for your side. All that stimulus and not a whole lot to show for it. But, I don't know. That's just me. That's how it appears to me.
Okay, well, I have a different perspective.
Okay?
I'm John Maynard Keynes.
F.A. Hayek.
Okay. Well, I had a real plan any fool could understand. They took my advice and they boosted demand. We didn't allow free market dogma to blind us. Now 2 years have passed and the worst is behind us.
Yeah, 2 years have passed, but we're still in a ditch and still digging. Now, don't you think it's time for a switch from the hair of the dog? Friend, the party is over. The girls have gone home. It's time to get sober.
This is your problem. You're nothing but gloom. All this talk of restraint is gonna lead us to doom. You free market guys get caught up in the cause. The economy's wounded. I've spread it with gauze. And frankly, my cure is working just fine. Don't you know the recession ended back in '09? I deserve credit. Things could have been worse. Check out Blinder and Zandy. I'll quote chapter and verse.
Yes, they're fine fellows and ever so pious. I worry they're prone to confirmation bias. Those Keynesian models are tidy and neat, but that top-down approach is a fatal conceit. Don't confuse forecast and ex-post simulation for looking at data and real estimation. I'll concede we've had growth, but the reason's unclear. Meanwhile, we're all waiting for jobs to appear.
How do you help those unemployed? It seems like the question that you choose to avoid. Tell me, what's your plan? Do you want us to wait and do nothing until markets equilibrate?
No, I don't want to do nothing. There's plenty to do. The question I ponder is who plans for who? Do I plan for myself or leave it to you? I like plans by the many, not by the few. We need to avoid what started this trouble. I want real growth, not a series of bubbles. Stop propping up housing and let prices work. But I feel for the suffering. I'm not some kind of jerk.
Now, my old friend, I'd never reject you as if you were heartless. You know I respect you. You just underestimate psychology's role. Sometimes in life we must be fearless and bold.
I don't doubt that psychology matters a lot, and we agree on that matter. But where we do not is just how do we get the psychology healthy so risk-taking returns and the future turns wealthy? Going back and forth here at Buttonwood.
I still want to steer markets.
I don't think that you should. Like to thank the Economist for having us here.
Now to the lobby for cocktails, wine, and some beer.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Now, clearly it's not easy being rapping economists.
Right.
But I find a trend occurring, and that's that Hayek keeps getting the last verse of every song we perform.
To say, I got a few friends here, I guess. I don't know what to tell you. But I hear rumors of a new video.
Well, what do you say we talk over some drinks? I know a place.
Yeah, okay, maybe I'll have one drink.
Okay, Capital, follow me. It's called The Lobby.
Great. Speaking of Capital, I have a few things I'd like to talk to you about in the lobby.
Okay.
Thank you very much. We're going to have one very, very brief final panel, which is with the creators of that masterpiece. I saw Mervin's head going up and down, and also with, hello, nice to meet you. we have here Russ Roberts, who is an economist at George Mason University, which explains a lot of the accuracy, at least when it came to understanding Hayek. And John Papola is an award-winning creative director with a passion for economics. And together they created EconStories TV, which creates videos to educate people in somewhat unusual ways. The video you just saw, the first one, has more than 2 million views on YouTube and has now been translated into 10 languages, which is probably a lesson that we at The Economist should take on. Messrs. Keynes and Hayek, sometimes known as Adam and Billy, need no real introduction. I was going to ask two very quick questions. The first one is for John. How did you do this? How did you put it together?
Well, it was really both of us. I mean, you'd be surprised how creative this guy is.
It is possible for economists to be creative.
I have a long bus commute, and we're in New York. We all do. The longest in the country. And, when the crisis started to take fold, I just became captivated by what was going on, and sort of surprised that there was this story out there, this Hayekian story that wasn't.
And the word Hayekian just appeared in your ear.
Yeah, of course. So, I discovered Econ Talk with Russ Roberts, and I started educating myself through Russ's podcast. And when I felt like I knew enough to know that something's not right, I cold called him and said, I want to make some kind of video. I didn't know what it would be. And that began a process that took about a year.
And Ross, do you want to, and that was the result?
Yeah, way too many emails. Our original idea for the sitcom, Keynes in the City, where Keynes, as a struggling assistant professor, tries to keep his students' attention and his personal finances in order, although we both thought it would have been a tremendous cable hit. We thought maybe we'd just start with the theme song for the show, and really that's how this idea that you saw in film came about. It was a wild set of stops and starts, but we finally got it done.
Can you explain one thing, which is the Keynes has always been around, but Hayek has suddenly come roaring back into it. I remember in California once seeing a copy of Road to Serfdom, Ronald Reagan's one, which was annotated throughout his own small hand, which is proof to those who doubt it that Ronald Reagan actually was really quite clever. How do you explain that he's come back in the way that he has?
Well, it's an extraordinary thing. I think in one way the more difficult question to explain is why Keynes is back. He was dismissed by the academic economists in the 70s. The stagflation really created a total ignoring of Keynes. And but when we have a big recession, he's attractive. Of course, if we have a big recession and there's a lot of government spending, all of a sudden Hayek's warnings come into play again. And since his warnings about the business cycle involved the building of capital, such as the housing sector, the overexpansion of that in response to low interest rates, it's a very timely theory to reconsider, and I think a lot of people are taking it more seriously than they did before.
Do you have any?
Yeah, well, I think if there's a lesson that I feel is most important from Hayek is that too much aggregation is a problem that's pretty pervasive in the way these issues are talked about. We hear about, like Russ said, we have too much slack capacity. Well, slack capacity to make what? What are we making with this capacity? If it's capacity to build more houses that we don't need, maybe that slack capacity doesn't tell us anything about what's going on. And I think Hayek looked at the world in terms of coordination, producing specific things for specific demands. It's not blobs of GDP that we buy and sell, and if we stop buying them, somebody else can buy them for us. And I just don't hear that approach taken. I hear these aggregates talked about pretty much incessantly.
The other part I think is so timely is his understanding of the role of knowledge in economic decisions. Hayek said really the central problem of economics is the fact that knowledge is dispersed in all of our individual heads, and how do we get that pulled together? He got into a big debate in the 30s over whether a socialized economy could do that in some fashion. And what we've learned, of course, is that computers aren't enough. The internet isn't enough. And certainly, no matter how advanced we are technologically, his understanding of the very nature of knowledge couldn't be more timely, more important, and will always be relevant, I think.
Well, thank you both very, very much. And on the subject of great aggregation, there is drinks and more similar material outside, which I hope you can have a chance also to talk to two of the great masters of economics, and I suppose their puppeteers as well. Thank you very much, and thank you very much also to all the people who've helped today, and we'll see you tomorrow with, hopefully, Keynes and Hayek.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye. Thank you. That's fantastic.